Chinedu, a 28-year-old clerk at a cooperative bank in Umuahia, Iboland, had just returned from a grueling trip to Lagos. His monthly salary of 50,000 Nigerian nairas barely covered his expenses, bus fares, family support for his sister's education, and the ever-rising cost of gari and palm oil. Yet, Chinedu had a knack for making every naira count, juggling his meager earnings with the skill of a seasoned trader and the optimism of a village storyteller. His home was a modest compound in a bustling neighborhood, filled with vibrant characters: Auntie Ngozi, the palm wine seller with a tongue sharper than a machete, and Emeka, the mechanic who always owed someone money. But there was one figure who faded into the background: Pa Okeke, an elderly man living in a crumbling room at the edge of the compound, his presence as quiet as the harmattan dust. No one knew much about Pa Okeke. Some whispered he was a retired schoolteacher, others claimed he was a dibia who lost his spiritual gift after a tragedy. Most just ignored him. Except Chinedu. It began during a dry season evening. Chinedu, returning late from the bank, spotted Pa Okeke slumped against his door, coughing into the chilly air. "Papa, you dey alright?" Chinedu asked, concern creasing his brow. The old man gave a faint nod, but his trembling hands told a different story. Without a second thought, Chinedu dashed to his room, heated a plate of egusi soup with fufu, and brought it to him. Pa Okeke's eyes glistened as he ate, murmuring thanks between bites. From that night, a quiet bond grew. Chinedu would share small gifts, a loaf of bread, a sachet of Milo, or paracetamol when he could spare the cash. He never pried into Pa Okeke's past, and the old man offered no stories. Their friendship was simple, built on shared meals and silent understanding. One stormy evening, Chinedu returned to the compound to find a crowd outside Pa Okeke's room. Voices overlapped in panic. "He just collapsed, oh!" Auntie Ngozi shouted. "E be like say him no dey breathe again," another neighbor muttered. Chinedu's heart sank. Ignoring the chatter, he grabbed the 6,000 Nigerian nairas he'd saved for a new pair of shoes, hailed an Okada, and rushed Pa Okeke to a nearby clinic. The doctors diagnosed severe malaria and warned he might not make it through the night. But Pa Okeke defied the odds. Days later, as he recovered, he pressed a worn envelope into Chinedu's hands. "Hold this. Open it when I'm no longer here," he said, his voice frail but firm. Chinedu laughed softly. "Papa, you go still dance at my wedding?" The old man smiled. "Just keep it." A week after his discharge, Pa Okeke and Chinedu sat under the compound's ube tree, sharing roasted yam and palm oil. For the first time, Pa Okeke spoke of his past. He had been a headmaster in Onitsha, a man of respect until a fire claimed his wife and daughter. Grief had turned him into a shadow, retreating from the world, rejecting sympathy. "But you, Chinedu," he said, his eyes soft, "you remind me of my daughter. You brought light to my darkness." 3 nights later, Pa Okeke passed away in his sleep. The compound barely stirred, life moved on. But Chinedu mourned as if he'd lost a father. Weeks later, Chinedu returned from a short trip to ABA to find his bags on the sidewalk outside the compound, soaked from an earlier rain. Tucked under one was a note in Pa Okeke's shaky handwriting. It read, "My son, Chinedu, if this finds you, I am gone. You gave me kindness when others turned away. In my room, under the mat, is a box. It holds a key and a bank slip. I sold my father's land in Nui years ago, keeping the money for someone worthy. You are that person. The slip is for 7.8 million Nigerian nairas. The key is to a small house in Amobia. Live well. Be kind. You are my legacy. Chinedu's hands shook as he read. Following the note, he found the box, the key, and the bank slip, exactly as described. Chinedu used part of the money to restore Pa Okeke's house in Amobia, turning it into a community center for elderly villagers. He started a small initiative in Pa Okeke's name, providing free medical checkups and food supplies to seniors in rural Igbo land. A local radio station shared his story, and soon, donations trickled in from across Nigeria. Chinedu's life transformed, but his core remained unchanged. He managed the funds with the same care he once used for his 50,000 Nigerian naira salary, ensuring every kobo served the purpose. He spoke at village gatherings, inspiring others to look out for the forgotten. In a world obsessed with wealth, Chinedu's story proved that true riches come from a heart that gives without counting the cost. His small acts of kindness had unlocked a legacy that would outlive him. Sparkles, your pocket may be light, but your kindness can carry the weight of a village.